Hello and welcome to another Mastery Path Connections interview. I'm Debra Sofia Magdalene, and this is a series of interviews I'm doing with ladies who make money whilst travelling. Today I am delighted to welcome Elizabeth HeartStar Keller all the way from Sedona. So Elizabeth, welcome. If you could start by telling us about yourself, about how old you are and where you travel to and how you started this lifestyle of traveling and making money.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. I'm 60-something, and about 20 years ago, in 1990, I was guided to move to Sedona. I had been here in the 60s when I was a teenager, and Spirit guided me back for an important global event called the Harmonic Convergence. And while here in ceremony with people from all over the world, the Spirit of Sedona said to me, "Come home to Sedona." So it wasn't till 1990, so that was 87, the Harmonic Convergence. In 1990, I did move here. And I've been an astrologer most of my life and a meditation teacher. And while here, again, Spirit, it had to do with, I follow Spirit. So it's not like I actually have ever tried to become something. That's not my way to work. I've never been a business person per se. I've had businesses. Had a successful flower business in Los Angeles and meditation, and but I follow Spirit, and that's my guidance.
That's great. And where do travels take you, Elizabeth?
Well, Glastonbury, right where you're sitting right now. And, it was, I was going through, it was in 1993, had a beautiful home in Sedona with the whole view of Thunder Mountain, Coffee Pot Rock, and Sugarloaf, the heart chakra of Sedona. And it was 93, and I was going through, as I said, these dark nights of the soul, kind of, okay, what's my next steps? Because, I felt like it was time for something new. And I looked out my window where I always sat, looking straight at Thunder Mountain. And when I looked at these particular rock formation, it was though I was flew out of my body and was an eagle flying. And every time I would look at that particular rock formation, I was just like freed from this dark night of the soul time. So it wasn't, and I knew it was somewhere in England. I had lived in London in 1969 and 70 while I was studying to be a TM teacher, Transcendental Meditation. And I always thought I would go back and teach Transcendental Meditation in the 70s, but it didn't happen. Things came up in my life. And so for some reason, this rock formation, I knew it was calling me back to London, to England. So this had been a long time, 1970 when I lived there, and this was 1993, 23 years later. So some people came and said, "I have a message from you. You're supposed to sell your house and follow us." And I was like, I don't know about that. So the next morning in meditation, I just asked without any thoughts, and I got a real bawling out by my guides, going, "When are you going to stop listening to these nutty people? When are you going to have discernment?" Which has been a big life lesson for me, discernment. So it was like I was really getting, blasted by that. And so I was taking a bath, and as I got in the bath, it was just like this. I heard Glastonbury, Glastonbury. And I didn't even know where Glastonbury was. I just went, I thought it was Greenwich, but it was definitely Glastonbury, but I thought, Greenwich time, it's time for me to go back to England. That's my next step. So it was only a couple months later that everything came together for me to go. My cousin.
What did you do with like your home and your belongings?
Well, I didn't move there. This was just my first trip to Glastonbury. Was November of 1993. So it was just, I won't go into all the magic that happened around it. There was a lot. Even somebody coming up on a bicycle while I'm having tea who had a room in Glastonbury that I could stay in. Yeah. And so I was there with my son, who was 11, Kai, and my cousin. Did I say my cousin? My son, Kai. My cousin was living in London at the time, so I phoned her up and I said, I'm coming to London. I'm flying in November 5th, Guy Fawkes Day. She says, why are you coming then? That's like an awful time to come. I said, I have to go to this place called Glastonbury. She says, okay, well, come on over. I know where it is. I'll guide you there. And so, taking the train and the buses, and when we took the bus from Wells to Glastonbury and I saw the tour, I said to Kai, that's what's been calling me for the year.
Oh, wow.
And then the whole time there, again, I met people. I met people who worked in the Bridget Healing Center. And I met my soul family. I feel my soul family's there. And that's how it happened. I came back to Sedona and said, okay, well, how can I get back there? So I thought, well, this has changed my life because I had been an astrologer since I was 16. I was studying, but I hadn't done it as my work. So sometimes we go to places and we need to connect with that ancient memory. And that's what it did for me in Glastonbury. And it was like, okay, it's time for you to do your work, your real work. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to put out to bring people to Glastonbury because if it had that effect on me, I believe other people that feel called, guided to that magical place of Avalon. And sure enough, a group filled up and I started to do tours. And then I worked out of the Bridget Healing Center for years. And it's been my home and it's been my path ever since. And to bring people, then Sedona in 2007, I was in the Cave of First Woman in Sedona, beautiful cave in probably the most sacred canyon, Boynton Canyon. In meditation, I had this whole amazing vision of the city of light that Sedona is. And the spirit of Sedona said, bring people to Sedona. So I said, well, everybody does tours here. No, you. So I was like, okay. So since 2007, I've been doing Sedona tours. And so I was bringing people, and I still am happy to bring people from England and Ireland and most of the UK here on 10-day pilgrimages, but I do, just vortex tours, or I do Red Rock chakra tours. And next week, I'm doing a road trip in California, doing talks about the eclipse that's coming up and astrology. So that's how, it's not an easy life path. You have to just trust. And sometimes I've had to be a caregiver, waitress, run restaurants, florist, things, to pay the bills. But I've always had enough. I've always had a roof over my head. I haven't been homeless.
Yeah, and so now you spend time in Glastonbury, time in Sedona, traveling between the two and going other places as well, which is fabulous. And so that's creating an income doing your tours and doing your astrology readings.
Yes.
Is there any other ways that you create income?
Well, this is new for me, going this road trip, which is wonderful because I'm looking forward to it. And it's kind of because I haven't really done talks, workshops, but that's what's set up for me. I've got friends all along the way, all the way the coast from Los Angeles up to Oregon. I'm going to be for the August 21st eclipse, which is a huge portal. And I'd like to share with everyone how important this portal is for us to connect our hearts with the heart of the heavens, with the heart of the lion star, Regulus, and really bring that love, hold that vision, that positive intention for our earth at this really most potent time, and especially for America, as everyone knows what's happening here. That the Aquarian age, that we are here, the crystal children, the rainbow children, whatever you want to call us, the whatever names we have been put on us.
The ones that are shaking up the system.
Yes. I know that I've come because I believe Avalon is a true city of light, an etheric city that has tried to manifest on the earth, and it never has, not even in the Arthurian times, as you know, all of the stuff that went on there. I believe just as Shambhala is that etheric, place that we all remember, to me, Avalon, and I know that more than ever now that my direction is to share what Avalon is, and it is a pure light, and it is the Holy Grail and the Round Table are all symbols of finding our light within and creating that equality and peace and love and harmony on the planet.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Elizabeth. And I also want to thank you because I'm spending time in Avalon and following me for so long. And as a result of us having a Skype call in February this year, is how I ended up to be here now, spending time with beautiful Thelma, and learning about crystal skulls and just being in this energy. And I was up at the tour this afternoon, and it was just absolutely stunningly beautiful. So I know exactly where you're coming from and why that was a pull to you. Can you just share with us one of the highlights of this lifestyle for you?
Well, the joy of sharing love with other people, and the sacred lands, these beautiful lands that we have, and ceremony, and I love to do my astrology. It's something that I've been passionate about since I was 16 studying. And so, that brings me great joy. And I did finally create my astro-oracle deck, which I've been using the prototype for 10 years. And so this is a new thing for me that I will start teaching, classes on how on astrology and how to use the deck, which are astrology cards. So that'll be a new avenue for me as well. And I know that Spirit has been wanting me to teach more, and so I'm getting more comfortable with that.
Well, that's fabulous, because we met in Glastonbury. I think it was 2008 or 2009.
Yeah.
Our paths have crossed since then. Free at the Be Here Now festivals where we've been supporting the honeybees. So our paths have continued to cross, and I know you've given me, I think I've had 3 astrology readings with you, and they've been really useful. If anybody's thinking about getting an astrology reading from Elizabeth, I really recommend, getting a full reading from her, because it really helps to give you that guidance. And I'm really pleased that you've now got your astro-oracle cards available. Keep me posted on what you're doing with those.
Yeah. They're available at Yin Yang in Glastonbury. because I know shipping from America is very expensive. So they have a couple dozen in Glastonbury. And so when I do a reading, I'm also a clairvoyant. So the reading, the birth chart to me is our blueprint.
Yeah.
And then, I'm able, looking at the blueprint, then I color it in usually when I have the horoscope here, because the colors speak to me. And so I use all of that. So I call myself a clairvoyant astrologer because it's a gift of sight is all that clairvoyance is.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that gift with the world. So we talked about like the highlight for you about being in the joy and sharing the love. What about challenges? What's been the main challenge for you?
Well, the challenge is you don't have a paycheck coming in, and you just have to be in total trust of spirit that you're provided for. And as I said, I've had to do little jobs to pay the bills often, and so I'm always okay with doing that when I need to do that. So I think you can't, it's important to know that it's not an easy lifestyle. Sometimes it's easier to have a 9-to-5 job and get a paycheck and, save money. And, that has not been my lifestyle. But I also know that this is what I'm guided to do. And I feel very blessed that I'm able to do that, because it hasn't been that many times where I've had to do other little jobs for quite some time now.
And what have you learned about yourself as a result of having this lifestyle?
That's a good question. I guess I've learned that my spiritual practice is the most important thing for me. And that because I have a very strong spiritual practice, I've been meditating regularly for 50 years. That's my foundation. So I've learned that, because when I haven't kept the spiritual practice that I have, I don't feel as centered, guided, in tune. So for me, I've learned that is, for me, that my foundation of my life is getting up and doing my spiritual practice, which includes meditation and qigong and lots of different things. And I always feel really in tune so that I can really hear spirit speak to me.
Yeah. And is this a lifestyle that you'd recommend to other people?
Well, it just, if that's their guidance, like I said, I don't feel it's it's an easy thing. I didn't come out saying, oh, this is going to be my lifestyle.
Yeah, you've just followed your
tuition. Yeah, I think following your passion. Yeah. Following your passion. When you follow your passion, then you will be guided and taken care of. And so I would just say that if you're passionate about living this kind of lifestyle and what you can share as well as receive in the world from that, then to follow that.
I think that's a really important point that you just brought up there about being open to receiving, because when you're open to receiving, you're always looked after.
Yes. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I've gone to Guatemala and Egypt a couple of times because I was guided there. I didn't plan the trips. They came to me, and they were amazing journeys, initiations, really. So I've really always just allowed things to come to me and then follow from that.
That's a great tip. Have you got any other tips that you'd like to share with ladies that are thinking of doing this?
Let's see, what other tips? Like I think just remaining positive, being open, not getting discouraged or disappointed, but just saying, okay, if this is not happening right now, then this is what I need to do. Like I said, you might need to work in a restaurant. I did hostessing sometimes because it was fun. Dress up at night, sit the people down, have a good meal, and make money. And I had the whole day free. I mean, you know, I usually did very mindless little jobs so that I didn't take it home, because it's not like I am a hostess. It was something I was doing. It was fun, part-time. Usually I would just do part-time jobs. But I think it's important not to get discouraged if you believe that, and do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Because I think, you know, we all have so many resources that we don't actually always acknowledge, and we can be very resourceful when we need to.
Yes.
Yeah. So Elizabeth, thank you for sharing your story with us, your wisdom. How can people get hold of you if they're interested in having a reading or finding out more about your work?
Yes, and I have an Airbnb room, ensuite room here in Sedona, Arizona, which is beautiful. It's definitely a city of light. And so I'd love to be a Red Rock chakra tour of Sedona and have or if you just want to come and stay, I love to host people, and it's just one room. And you can get a hold of me through my website, which is that's ASTRO -oracle.com, for readings, as well as just to contact me through Elizabeth at astro-oracle.com. Or on Facebook, you know, Elizabeth HeartStar Keller, and I love to put my astrology little paragraphs and find pretty pictures. That gives me great joy to share what's happening with the planets and the stars.
Thank you for that. And before we go, you know, you've taken HeartStar. You've got a crystal skull. Do you want to just introduce HeartStar to everybody?
Yes, here's HeartStar, who I opened a crystal shop with Louis Krieg, who has Stone Age in Glastonbury. In 2004, we opened Stone Age Sedona in Sedona. And I was managing it for him for about 18 months. And a woman came in, and this ancient Himalayan crystal skull HeartStar came by way of her. And that changed my life as well. And so I left managing the shop. And I think that's probably, I would say, when more of my tours and everything really took off, and the work with Thelma, who for her Thelma's where you're staying at Thelma's house, for her 90th birthday, my friend Jules Maloney and I wrote this book called The Crystal Skull Messenger, which is available on Amazon, which is a story of how HeartStar came into my life and started to open the Thelma to being the Crystal Skull Messenger. And then Yangtze, her amazing crystal skull, came into her life through HeartStar. And so it's been an incredible journey. There's Yangtze, and where's Thelma? People can see Thelma.
Oh, she's not too brandy. So Thelma's here. Thelma's in the conservatory listening to us.
There's Thelma.
Here's Yangtze. And Thelma, come and say hello to everybody. We're on camera.
Yes. So Thelma, this is the story of how Thelma and I met, and the amazing poetry, inspired channeled poetry through the crystal skulls, as Thelma is the crystal skull messenger.
She certainly is, and it's been an absolute joy, and also a real blessing and a privilege for me to be here with Thelma, and just with Yangtze to be able to describe for us.
HeartStar and HeartStar's throne.
Yeah. So thank you so much for bringing us together, Elizabeth.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you very much for joining us on
See
the
you.
interview. So
Aw.
bye, sweetie.
Bye. Wonderful to see you. Bless you.
Okay, bye everybody. Hope you've enjoyed the interview.
Thank you.
Do feel free to share.
Oh, broken my girl.